Welcome to a new video of Nu-Trix, the Synth Guy, and thank you very much. It's the 5,000 subscribers video. I was happy this week to see that in the same week I got over the 5,000 subscribers and also over 500,000 views of my videos since I actually started in June 2017. So thank you very much. Today will be a little bit different. I'll answer comments and questions I get online because it drives the content of this YouTube channel. So let's go through the comments I got in the last month. I have a question here from Tags Vids, and it says, in the video where you trigger it with the TR-09, so I'm talking about triggering the TR-09 with the Volca Beats. And the problem is that it runs twice as fast if you put it on every note. So that is something that is real because the Volca Beats only answer to an eighth of a note for triggering the speed. So he's asking if you can do the same on the TR-08 or how do you do it. Basically, the TR-08 also have a trigger track. You just figure out where it is and put notes every 2 notes. So you put a trigger on step 1, 3, 5, and so on, only odd numbers. Now, I have a video about the TR-08, so look somewhere in my YouTube channel for the TR-08's video. And when you get into the trigger sequence or the trigger tracks, that's where you're going to enter the information. That's it. I have this from Santa Fe, which says that at 0.10, that sounds bad. Sorry. I have Jean-François Duguay who says, I need your assistance. How can I configure my SE02 so I can use the step sequencer in Ableton live? Or to be clear, when I push play in Ableton, I want the step sequencer from the SE02 to start. Now, I receive a lot of questions about how to sync to devices, and it's probably one of the things that people understand the least, because they don't know the background messages that exist into different type of synchronization. Instead of explaining every different ways of doing it specifically for one device, I'm starting to writing a little course that it will explain what Midi sync is, what it can do and what it cannot do, what trigger sync is, what it can do and what it cannot do, what SMPTE timecode sync does and why, when you want to use it, and word clock sync. So all of these are used today combined in different ways depending on what you're doing. So I'll do a class on it, a little online course that people can buy, because it's very complex in a way, but when you understand all these principles, you'll be able to adapt to any type of gear and understand that sometimes it's not even possible because it has to be built to be either a slave or a master or a certain type of sync. If it does not, well, it just won't work into your system. You know, some devices are only master sync. Well, you cannot sync them together. They're both masters, so it doesn't work. But I'll do one class on it because it's actually pretty deep in how it works and why. I've got this from Chameleon Audio Vision, and he talks about the Subpac video I did. Try to understand how to hook it up. So either because Subpac, the backpack with basically bass that trigger or send bass sound into your bones, it's pretty powerful, pretty surprisingly efficient. And either you want to use it with headphones, which is already made for that because there's a headphone out, but a lot of people and myself find that when you listen to low volume, well, the headphone amplifier that is provided by the Subpac is not super clean. You hear some noises on it. So depending on the headphone you're having and the ohms you're using, all that, it's less than interesting. It's not bad, but it's not pristine, I would say. So that's why a lot of people will actually send 2 messages. So you will take, let's say, the output of your sound card, and you try to have a sound card that has 4 outputs, and the 2 of them you send to the Subpac, and 2 of them you send to your headphones or your speakers, you know. So you have them in parallel, and then you can control the volume of each of them, you know. Now keep in mind that the Subpac could receive a headphone signal or a line signal. So the 2 of them can actually be accepted by the Subpac. A lot of people I talk to, they prefer to send a line signal and then they can then adjust the volume, whereas the headphone is already boosted. So I would say you need to test it out and see where it sounds the best for you. The second question, he's talking about scenario 2, using USB headphones and a Subpac. Well, that is a problem in the fact that when you're using your DAW, let's say Ableton Live again, you want to play it. When you're sending it, you assign it to an audio output. It's a sound card, and then when you play that output, well, it only plays on that one, so it will be your headphones. So it's a USB headphones in that case. So you won't be able to send that also to your Subpac because unless your headphone has an audio out, which I guess it doesn't. So if you want to use it with these headphones and the Subpac, you would also need another audio output hardware, USB card, and you would need to have an aggregate device. So create a virtual combination of these two devices, and it will appear as an audio output with 4 outputs in your computer, and send 2 for the headphones and 2 for your Subpac. And that's it. I mean, it's in that case, I would say that the USB headphone is not really the way to go with the Subpac. So, Green Old Sun is asking about a replace. He has this one like me, and he doesn't like the keys, where it's not the perfect keys when you want to play keyboard. So he's asking what other controller is possible or interesting for the iPad. Now, before I answer that one, I will also talk about the question, because the two can add up. It's old school synth boy. It was talking about the TR8, and can you use a TR8 as a sound card into your iPad? Because the TR8 is, when you connect to the computer, is also working as a sound card. And all the boutiques appears as sound cards. Now, the problem is that an iPad, for it to work with an audio interface or a USB Midi interface, it has to be, the Midi interface or the audio interface has to be what they call class compliant USB. And by being class compliant, they don't need drivers. And to be sure, if you have a Mac, you hook them up to the Mac, and if they run right away without using any drivers, they're class compliant. Now, some devices are class compliant when you put them in a mode to be class compliant. So you need to press a couple of keys before you bring that device to be class compliant. And most of the time, some of the features will stop working because you're kind of dumbing them down to the level of being class compliant. It doesn't have to be, but sometimes that's what you see. Now, on top of that, some audio interface also are using drivers on the iPad. I used to have a Stangberg interface. I think it was UR8 or UR424 or something like that. And that was a nice little interface. And when you hook it up to the iPad, you needed to download a app, which is basically a driver, that would give you access to all the features of this audio interface. So you would have access to the internal DSP and the internal mixer on screen on your iPad. So that's really interesting because it means that that interface, now you have access to the internal features like you would have on the computer. It means that the company needs to build a software for the iPad just to drive the internal DSP of your machine. If you're talking about controllers, go back to controllers. If you want to be able to use a controller, maybe not something like that, something that has keys, and again, maybe not smaller like that, because most people, when they say they don't like smaller keys, they don't superbly love these ones. But if you want, this is also a good option, but this is MIDI in only. I never were able to use this as a MIDI out, and that's kind of a bummer. I have also an Amazon store. So there's a Nu-Trix selection of stuff you can buy. Of course, when you click on these and you buy something, you'll get some little, cash out of it. So that's where it is. The Amazon's Nu-Trix store is down here. I did a list about controllers for the iPads, and I mean, there the Akai, the Novation, what else? The Arturia, the Roland is a full-size keys. Now, some of them works directly from the iPad, using the power of the iPad. Some of them needs batteries, but to really run them well, most of the time you need for them to be hooked up into the wall so they have power. So it's portable, but it's not that portable. I mean, it's not It's portable because it's small, you can carry it with you, but it's not something you can just bring in the yard without any power and use it because it runs on batteries. So, but you have normal size keys or almost normal size keys. So depending on what you want to do, these might be the best options. Mark B, that answers to my question about Gadget 2 not finding the tempo and the fade in and fade out. And he had explained that it's exactly in function. So we'll do it right away. We'll see what he says. And I haven't tried it yet, so I'm just going to do it to you guys. So he says it's in function and pressing the 4/4. Ah, there you have it. Okay. You have tempo disable. So each scene can have their tempo. Oh, okay. So scene 1 can be slower and then can change tempo for each scene. So that really is powerful right away. And you can fade in. That's the volume. Okay. So there it is. So it's per scene. And if you add a new scene and you go function this one, you can say that one I'm going to change the tempo to 20. The other one's going to be at 128. So that's it. You get 2 different tempo settings for that. So pretty awesome. Thanks, Mark B. I've got Sergey L, who asked about how to trigger the JP8000 using Ableton Live. I will do a whole set on that because there's a whole question of how to actually send Midi to this, bring the audio out back into your computer, and being able to record the output of your synth. So I'll do another one just for that, how to set up a hardware synth to trigger, play, sync, and record back into Ableton Live. So that's just going to be one video about that. So I'm going to put it in my list. Bernie Bernalot, who has a right information about Aria Pro on my mastering video, where I talked about the fact that when you get into Aria Pro, there is no LUFS in it, but there is one into FabFilter plugins. And he's right, but I was also right in the fact that I was using not the L2 Pro upgrade. It was only RMS and peak meters, no loudness units. And after reading the video, his post, and I say I'm sure he's right, so I started to look around, try to figure out where it was, and I found that I needed to pay another $28 to get the latest update with the loudness unit, which I did because that is what I need when I mix today, because it needs to be mixed within the values of streaming platform. I'll do another video about that. I'll finish a couple of songs and I will do a mastering of them. I'll show you how I approach it and how I do it in Aria Pro. So that will be coming in. I have William Neva, or Navas, I'm not sure. He says, thanks for your work. Would you mind making a tutorial for the Poly 6 and for the iPad, please? Thanks. Well, yes, I'll put that on my list. I think the Poly 6, the iPoly 6 for the iPad, and the IMS20. Somebody at work this week that asked me how the IMS20 worked. So yes, I'll do a little video about that. Onder telling me how to pronounce Beepole when I talk about the artist that makes these beautiful videos that you can actually use for your own videos. So in the Beepole video that I did my own, I explained where I took the imagery, and his name is Beepole and not Beppel, like I probably destroyed his name. There's a 21st century vaporster, I'm not sure. Please stop saying scent. Yeah, I'm sorry. When you look at the subtitles, you'll find that sometime YouTube pick my words as not the one I'm saying. So instead of saying synth, they understand scent. So like the scent of something. I'm trying to work a better English. You know that I'm a French Canadian and English is my second language. So I'm trying to have a better sound. And when I say synth guy, and not in the early days it was scent or it was sin, like it's a sin. So sorry for these accident. Well, Marcus Menderson, Nice. Would you mind doing a mastering video, final touch versus for grand finale, and Lurson mastering and audio master versus Audio Pro Fab Filter? Basically, that's what I did 2 weeks ago. This is exactly what I'm looking for. If you come in and you write comments, tell us how this works, it guides me to create stuff that people really want to see. So I'll be more than happy to put in the list, a short list. That will be the first thing I'm going to do. I've got Matt Crispel. Matt Crispel, we have a project together, Matt. Thank you very much, Matt. Matt saw my video about the TR-08 and was really happy about having the list of information I put there. And I did it the same way as anybody does. When you try to understand how to use it, there's so little information in the manual that the only way to really understand is to write down how you want to use it. So Matt did do a written version of a video of all the information on how to use the TR-08 menus and features and all that. I've been working the layout, so we would print it out as a PDF. It will be offered on my Nu-Trix.com website. So probably here, you go there, the Nu-Trix.com website, and on the TR-08 page, you'll be able to download the PDF of the manual, the missing manual of the TR-08. This exists because Matt took the time to write it down. So thank you very much, Matt. And then there's a JCrawl69 that says basically, be nice if you went straight to the point and details after. Well, I try to start my video by explaining what the video is about, and then I start going into explaining how this works. And the reason why I don't go straight to the point is because I explain why the point works this way. And it's probably because I've been a teacher for 20 years that I don't want to just tell people this is the recipe. Recipe by itself is useless if you don't understand why you do the steps in a certain way. So I prefer to take a step back and say, this is the big picture. This is what you want to get as a result, and these are the tools you have. This is how you could create your own recipe so you get to the point you want to go. So I prefer to give you the big picture, and then you can learn from that and probably understand other things that I haven't talked about. But by giving you a step back and look around and try to figure out how it works, it will also help you understand other problems that you have in your studio. So getting straight to the point for me, it's not bad, but I want you to learn more. So that's it. That's it for this list of comments and answers. In the next videos, I have a list of probably 15 different things. I have the TR-8S, I want to test out more. The Nano Studio for the iPad that I have installed, but I haven't really dig into it. Stage Lite for iPad. That is a surprisingly powerful little sequencer, sound generator. I'll go deeper in it. I'll do a video about that. How you control your hardware synth in Ableton Live. So I'll do a video about that. I have a JV2080 here, and I'll do a walkthrough of this, because if you put your hand on one of these devices, you'll be surprised how powerful these things are. And the cost today would be fairly affordable, and this is really powerful. So I'll do a video about that. I'll do a little course about sync. I told you that synchronization, because a lot of people ask me about it, and it's really something that people don't get, it seems. So I'll explain the little course on it, but a deep one, so you can understand any other device when you get in front of it. The Waldorf Rocket has an update. I didn't update mine, so I'll explain how to do it and what's new with the update. How to mix and master using Audio Pro, because I'm going to finish some of the songs and I'll show you how I do it. And the iPoly 6 and the IMS-20. So that's my list today. Now, any of these you want to see first, write them in the comments and I'll do these videos first. Anything else you want to talk about, write them in the comments. And if other people tag them with a thumb up, these will be the topics I'll do first in the next weeks and the next videos. That's it, guys. Really happy that you like my YouTube channel. Really happy that you reached the 5,000. I'm doing this because I like to do it and because I like to share the information. And if I can help you, I'll try, and I'll try to figure out the answers for that. So keep making music and have fun. Just